keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yeah. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space out, I see the possibilities unfolding the way that I want. That you showed up was written in the palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner.
Hey everybody, welcome back. I am super excited about this live stream. This is Outpost Gray. I am your host, Jax Scott. Outpost Gray is a YouTube channel designed to provide you information in cybersecurity, technology, and innovation. And today is going to be an amazing live stream. But at first, if you haven't noticed, I kind of have a little bit of a different background, a little bit of a setup going on over here. I'm in a hotel right now, so bear with me if I have any technical issues. I've already talked to our guest. He already knows to like spearhead and keep going if I like suddenly drop and have to come back on with any technical issues. So definitely bear with me there. But first off, I already see the room filling up. I'm so grateful for everybody that's showing up. As you guys know, wherever you're at, we're live streaming on YouTube and LinkedIn. We also have a Clubhouse room set up. So if you want to be part of this hack and part of the live stream, I would say go ahead and hop on either YouTube, LinkedIn, but also jump in Clubhouse. I'm already in there right now. Dan's going to be coming in and out, I think, but I will be staying in there. I'll make you a host. If you want to talk, you can come off and talk and ask questions. Now, if you do have to ask questions, make sure that you use a capital Q before you ask the question so I can make sure to grab it. And we will be taking questions as we go through this hack. So our guest today, now I'm really excited. Our guest today is a dear friend of mine. His name is Dan Hall. He is 45 years within the tech space. He has a wealth of knowledge, but I'm going to allow him to share his background. But before I bring him on the stage, I want to let you know that we are extremely fortunate because Dan Hall is the founder of Peekaboo Analytics, and Peekaboo Analytics is actually, it is powering the live stream today. So what is Peekaboo Analytics? And Dan will dive a little bit into, but it's an analytic platform and a service that allows you to have a visualization of all your comments, your mentions, your hashtags, and your engagements on any live stream that you do on LinkedIn. So Dan is running that right now. So at the end of this, if you're curious about that information, I definitely encourage you to reach out to Dan Hall. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's bring on Dan to the stage. Welcome, welcome. How are you? I love that background.
I am doing remarkable, Jax. Thank you so much for having me today. What a treat.
It's my pleasure. Breaking up a little bit. Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. So you wanted to know a little bit about my background. Well,
please.
I started, I grew up in foster care. And when I was 8 years old, the Halls, I had just come off of the Halls adopting me. And I always understood what chaos looked like because of being in the abusive foster home I was in. But then my mom did something amazing. My adopted mom, Maggie. She would go to her church function, drop me off at the local college. This is in Castleton, Vermont. And the college library where I went allowed anybody from the community to come in and use the computers. And I started learning how to code when I was 8 years old. And that, by the time I was 10, they got me my first computer, which was a Commodore VIC-20. But the most amazing thing was the way my mom showed up for me. And she was bored off her ass, but she would tell me how amazing my code was, and it was just the first time in my life that I had that opportunity to truly see, that positive side of something. And she was the catalyst for my career. I've worked in aerospace, nuclear, financial services, healthcare, telecom. So I've had a great career working with multi-million-dollar companies. But I have to say, the best hack isn't Clubhouse. It's learning how to get into the heads of our 6 adopted children. That is the most amazing hack right there.
Wow, I love that. Getting into the heads of your 6 amazing children. I don't even, how do you do that? How do you hack that? What's the technique?
It is having a wife that has this way of reaching into your soul and capitalizing on the best parts of you, filtering out all the crazy stuff, and just inspiring you to see the best in yourself. And that's what she does with me, and that's what she does with our amazing children as well. Then there's a lot of health issues that we work through, but she is at the forefront. I might make the money in the family, but I'll tell you, I I cannot compete with the level of intelligence that she brings to the table when we talk about trauma and hacking that side of it and trying to figure out how to best provide for our kids in that way.
I love that. Yeah, you have a very unique background. We talked about that. If you guys haven't checked out Dan's interview that we did, it was about 3 weeks ago. There's an interview that we did. It's about an hour long because there was just so many layers. He has a really interesting background. I'll even drop the link to the YouTube, his background and his interview. I would check that out. But we're here today, Dan, to hack some Clubhouse. But before we dive into it, I want to caveat and let everybody know what Dan is going to be teaching you today is designed to teach you how easy this is to do this, what type of data you can pull from it, and really to educate you on how to secure yourself and why to secure yourself. And I know, Dan, I'd love for you to share how you even found out that you could hack Clubhouse.
Well, I am a curious, if you go back to being 8 years old, I was a tinkerer. And I love to see how things work. So when people started saying Clubhouse was going to be, the next big thing, it's like, I'm going to have to go in and see what this is all about. So with any software that I want to be part of or get into, I hack it. And, it's interesting because I found some holes inside of Clubhouse's API that allowed you to, and this is what we're going to look at today, allowed you to take some of those links once you find out what the links are and to just drop them in a browser and download the data. And it's how some of these hackers were able to glean 12 million plus profiles off of Clubhouse.
Wow, 1,200 plus profiles. Wow.
12 million.
12 million. Okay, wow. Yeah, that's amazing. So in the type of data, what is the type of data that you can pull off of there? All of their phone information, the type of phone they have?
There's a lot of libraries out in GitHub where you can actually go do a deep dive into the Clubhouse API. Now, those are using authenticated calls. And if you're just starting out in hacking and stuff, what that means is that you have to log in, you have to replicate the login process through REST, which is the type of services that Clubhouse uses, or APIs. You have to replicate those API calls, and then you can start getting into sniffing their traffic a little bit deeper. But the type of data that we'll be looking at today is jumping into a room, in this case, the Outpost Gray room, and we will take a look. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get that magic link, that public link that is not authenticated. And I'm going to take that and copy it to my local Windows PC here, and we're just going to keep refreshing that link, and you're going to see that people will start changing. That link will give you what's called JSON, JavaScript object notation, but it'll give you all the analytics for the room at that point in time.
That's amazing. Okay. And this link that you're talking about is the Clubhouse link that everybody can log into in that room.
It's actually the link that you have to use the tools that we're going to show you to get. It won't be a link that looks like the Clubhouse link. It'll look completely different, but it's going to be a link to the backend API.
Okay, very, very good. I love this. Okay, Dan, so I got a quick question before we dive in. What's your opinion on the longevity of Clubhouse with Twitter, LinkedIn, Space, etc., copying the format?
My take on that is Clubhouse really had its run in 2020, and I I saw so many people just falling off the bandwagon in Q3 and Q4. So I honestly don't think that past 21, 22, or it's definitely already significantly dropping. And I'd say within about a year or so, you might see it just kind of phased out.
Paul says hi. He's in Clubhouse. If you heard him in the background, sorry, that was Paul.
Hey, Paul.
Just so you guys know, if you pop in here, I'm putting you on the stage. So that was Paul, everybody. So yay. Happy to have you in there. Yeah,
Awesome.
This is good. We've got about 4 people. So everybody, if you want to get in, I'll say it for anybody that popped in new. If you want to hop in and be part of the Clubhouse live on the Clubhouse side, go to the Outpost Gray live stream is the name of the room. You can pop in there. I'll throw you on the stage. And if you want to ask questions, you can unmute there. So yeah, so Dan, do you want to start talking about the overall process and do like a shared screen and like show them? Okay, I think that would be awesome. Kind of go through your tooling and how you do this. And just so everybody's clear, this live stream is to give you an overall idea. But if you are watching this and you're like, God, I would love to have an actual class on this, I'd say reach out to Dan or me, and we can do another stream and we can actually break this down and teach you some of the steps and put it into kind of a workshop environment.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I'm making sure my phone is set up.
And yeah, Mark left a message and said, I just joined Clubhouse, not sure if I like it. Lots of rooms and varied topics. Yeah, the thing you'll notice, Mark, is there's, in my opinion, unless you know the specific rooms you're going into, there's a lot of garbage. There's a lot of noise in Clubhouse. There are a couple of very, very good rooms that I can definitely give you that I think you would like, Mark, that are in the technology space.
So I'll go ahead and share my screen.
Gabe, I saw this, but I wasn't sure what you meant. Have you actually moved someone off the speaker stage? You can do that. But I have not done that.
So that should be shared.
Human Initiative. Thanks for showing up. Okay, I'm sharing your screen for you right now.
Awesome.
Boom. Got it.
So there's 3 tools that I actually used when I hacked Clubhouse. And full disclosure on this, I have done a lot more research on what can and can't be done. And I was able to get in and run a process that would download people's profiles just by putting there's a user ID that everybody has. It's numeric. So you can just set a loop and run through the numbers, and you can keep downloading people's profiles. It doesn't give you what their magic UUID is for their phone, but it's how other hackers have gleaned those profiles. So you really need to be careful about what you're putting into your profiles. And even if you're running something like Club Deck, you're still not safe, because I can drop any link in my profile. And if you click on that link inside of Club Deck and it sends you to a malicious site and you don't have the proper security measures on your computer to handle, capturing that and notifying you, then you're still at risk even inside of Club Deck. So,
and just so everybody knows, Club Deck is the desktop of Clubhouse, to be able to use Clubhouse on your desktop. That's all it is. So it's still the same processes. You're just now, instead of your phone, you're on your desktop.
Yeah, exactly. So the tools that we'll be using today, obviously Clubhouse is one. We'll be using and these are all free tools. So Thor is what we're going to be doing for our packet sniffer. And what that does is it allows us to see it, and that's on the iOS. That allows us to see what type of traffic is going out from our phone and what's coming back into our phone from the web. And we'll also be using Fiddler, and I'm going to be using Fiddler on my Windows PC. So
I'm not familiar with Fiddler. Because I think it's because I have a Mac and it only be used on Microsoft.
I believe it runs on Mac and Linux now. Now, not some of the classic version. So the version I'm using is a classic version, which is free. But their Fiddler Everywhere runs on Mac and Linux. But it's a SaaS service, or not
Okay.
SaaS service, but it's a download that you have to, a subscription that you have to pay for.
Okay. So it doesn't look like you have a lot of tools to do this. 3 things, and you're able to be successful.
Yep.
Yeah. That's amazing. Okay.
So the first thing you want to do when you want to start and sniff any traffic is make sure you got all your apps closed on your phone. And I need to make sure that I have all my apps closed on my phone. And I don't know if this session,
let me close all my apps.
Yeah.
Do I need to have mine closed?
No. This is just me.
Okay, that's a good point to note. Okay.
With Thor, it's going to tell you everything that's going from your phone out to the web and back. So you're going to get a lot of noise.
More noise if you have other apps open. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let me make sure I'm broadcasting again. And there we go.
CC, Cybersecurity Central in the house.
So what we want to do is first thing we want to do is open up Thor so we can get that opened up before we do Clubhouse. But we don't want to start tracking a session right now because you're going to get a lot of noise. If you start doing that, you're going to start seeing all the traffic to Clubhouse, out to Clubhouse and back. So you kind of have to, you'll go into Clubhouse first, which I'm going to do.
Yep.
And
there I am.
Then before I go into the room to get that magic link, I want to make sure that I'm starting a Thor session. And I'm doing that by clicking this little button up here, or I'm tapping it on my phone. And that's going to start sniffing the HTTPS, the secure traffic from my phone back and forth to Clubhouse. So I do that. And then I'm going to go back to Clubhouse and I'm going to enter the room.
Okay.
And I'm already muted.
Yeah, I'm going to mute again because now you're in the room with me. So.
Yeah. Okay. Hands up. All right. So I only need to be in here probably 15 seconds. And I can go back to Thor. And I can actually stop. It lost the broadcast on my phone when I did that. So let me go back to start broadcasting, probably because of Clubhouse. Yeah, there we go. And let me go back into Thor. And I'm going to stop that session. I just clicked on this link right here. And now I can come down here to my sessions. And we can open this up and you can see all the Clubhouse traffic here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
But that's from this specific, no, that's from different IP addresses. So that's that. And is that are those username? No.
Some of them will.
There we go.
You'll see.
I see an iPhone, and then you've got the IP addresses associated with that. Wow. And then you can see the actual bits for upload and download.
Yeah, I'm going to actually, we're actually going to bring this over. With Thor, I'm going to mail it to myself. I'm going to go to more here, and I'm going to send an HTTP archive, which is what that's going to do. It's going to take all the sessions, every single request and response that was made to Clubhouse. I'm going to bring it over into my PC and bring it into Fiddler. It's just much easier to read on the bigger screen than it is to try to parse through it through my phone. So I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to say share, and we are going to send this to my email. And I'm going to pull up that email on my PC here. And there it is. And I'm just saving that once I get into my email here. We are going to save that. It's an HAR file. So, and then I'm going to, I know you couldn't see me saving that, but I'm going to open up Fiddler here. And I believe you can see that now on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay, so I'm going to import a session and HTTP archive, which you saw me export out of Thor.
Mm-hmm.
And I have this in my downloads, and it's this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to double click on that. Much easier to see in here than it is on the phone. And what I'm going to do is look for, there's going to be one of these links is going to give me some JSON information for the room. And I believe it's going to be these.
Hey, Dan, can you zoom in at all? I got a request to see if you could just get a little closer.
I think you can change my thing to full screen.
Oh, that's a good point. Here, let me try.
There you go.
Yeah, does that help, Gerald? Everybody?
Yeah, so the key thing that I've learned to look for is let me make sure I got the right one. And this takes just a little bit of practice. I believe that first one that I had was the right link. Yes, there's my name right there. Yep. So once you get that magic link, and it's usually this format with the Clubhouse to the API. And then if you hit Control U, I'll go right click here, copy just the URL. Watch what happens when I pull that into a browser. Let me just turn my bookmarks off so we have some more room. We're going to bring that into a browser, and I can sit there. I've got a script that can run, and anytime anybody goes up on stage, I wish we had more people in the room, but anytime anybody goes up on stage, I can put this in a loop for every 10 seconds. And as things change in the room, you'll see it happening and changing on this public link, which is crazy. And it can get pretty filled up if I shift. Let me go back to my iPhone here. And I'm going to take myself. I am going to speak. Yeah, get some reverb here. So let's see what happens when I change this.
You turn your volume down on my end so it's not a bad reverb.
Yeah. So once you do that and you get that link, you can actually put that in software.
Really hard to see, but yeah.
Oh, you're talking about this?
Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk about the data that's coming through here. You get some timestamps, which is UTC time or Greenwich Mean Time. That is the number of seconds since 1970, 1970. That's the number of seconds that's elapsed. So they use that. And this is in milliseconds here. So you can convert those to just regular date and time. But the thing that I found odd, I still don't understand what the heck this skin tone is. It has to be some type of AI that they're running on their filters.
You're a skin tone 3.
Who knows what that means?
Yeah, exactly. It's a good point.
So who else is in here? Let me refresh this. See if we've got anything else. Let me see.
Carl's over here.
Yeah. So as people shift in and out of the room, this will change. If you had more people into a room, if I went into a room with, let's say, 100 people, and people are switching in and out, if I leave the room right now in Clubhouse, let me leave quietly. That should change now
to 6. Yeah.
Yeah, but let's see. So you kind of have to play with this. Does it say I left the room yet? It's usually about 30 seconds behind. But once you have that link, you can play with it. You can refresh it and end up getting, there's a post that I did where I let this sit for almost 3 hours and it refreshed every 10 seconds inside of Gary Vaynerchuk's room where he was talking about NFTs. And it would show when people went up on stage, when they left the stage, when they became a speaker. So it was pretty interesting. And the people's I believe their URL to their pictures are also on here as well.
Gerald was asking, is the thumbnail URL and the JSON referring to the avatar?
Yes. Here you go. I'm going to paste one right here. I think I'm going to paste one. Hold on. Copy. And
James had a question for you. He was curious.
Yes, there it is.
Oh, hey, there we go. We got Joe. Joe, we have a picture of your cat. Loving it.
Yeah.
So, Dan, can you share again? How did you get into, like, how did you even create this idea? Let's hack Clubhouse. How did that happen? Like, one day you woke up, you're like, I'm going to try to hack Clubhouse.
No, it's just curiosity. It's just curiosity of, I love doing things that, you know, especially if Clubhouse says, you know, it's not hackable or whatever. But I kept looking at, you know, somebody hacked Clubhouse, somebody hacked Clubhouse, somebody hacked Clubhouse. I'm like, okay, I need to see what this is all about. So when I got in, I hacked Clubhouse, and I even developed my own. I'm a .NET guy, so I developed in .NET Core because that gets you Mac, Linux, and Windows software once you compile it. And so I developed a lot on .NET Core, and I was able to write my own Clubhouse library to actually register your phone and do all kinds of stuff. You know, that the actual API was basically replicating all the calls to their back end. Okay. And I want to say that is purely for learning, not to glean data or to, it's just like even today to educate people. You can take the tools like Fiddler. If you want to share my screen again.
Yes, absolutely. Coming in hot. I'm doing a lot of this. This is good. Didn't even practice this beforehand.
Yeah. So the one thing that I love about Fiddler, you got other tools like Wireshark, which gives you so much data. And I like just honing in on the HTTP and HTTPS as a secure layer traffic. So if I go to somewhere like just Google, for example, you'll see all the calls that just went from my browser. Now, download Fiddler, guys, and install Grammarly. And imagine being in the cybersecurity space and using Grammarly, or the healthcare space and using Grammarly. Watch the traffic that goes to and from their servers. People don't understand that when you use Grammarly and it's looking at like a healthcare field that you're entering healthcare data in, that data has to go to their servers. It has to get whatever. They got to run through their AI, and then it's coming back to you. But the moment that personal health information leaves your PC, it's somewhere else. Yes, keyloggery. I love that. Yes, it is keyloggery. So,
would you say that Fiddler's easier than Wireshark? Okay.
If you're looking at just HTTPS traffic or HTTP traffic, absolutely is much easier. It's just because it's just HTTP and HTTPS. And the cool thing about it is I could have set up a proxy with my phone. So all the traffic that was coming from my phone would have went right into Fiddler on my PC. I could have attached it to my Wi-Fi and attached Fiddler and got the IP address inside of Fiddler and connected my Wi-Fi manually on my iOS. And I would have automatically seen all that traffic coming through on Fiddler without using Thor. but not everybody knows how to use Fiddler. So I wanted to give people a way to use Thor, because I'm curious about what's going on my phone, and I'll use Thor quite a bit if I'm installing a new app. So let's talk about Owwll. Let's talk about Owwll. Owwll is how Jax and I met. Just great platform. Great platform.
It's a great platform.
So
you want to show them a quick YouTube video, like do a shared screen and just give them a quick so they know what Owwll is, or we can talk it. I think visual is always nice.
Visual is always nice. So I run Owwll on my Android emulator, BlueStacks. So let's close this down. Let's close this down. And instead of just showing you a YouTube video,
I met Mark on Owwll too. Mark Giro's on here. I met him, and yeah, we got a couple of Owwll fans. Anybody that's in here listening that's not on Owwll, you need to connect with one of us so we can get you on here, because it's still in beta and it's about to launch in a full-fledged
and platform. if you don't get it, I mean, it's a one-on-one call. Imagine Gary Vaynerchuk being on Owwll, and you have to pay $150 for 10 minutes to talk to him. And that, I mean, I'd pay $150 to talk to him one-on-one. You're not going into a room that has 100 people and you're not going to get a chance to talk to him. You're getting a one-on-one call with these experts that are on the platform. So getting in early and talking to other experts is so vital. Do you want to know why? Because if you're on Owwll and I'm having a conversation with you, it's going to be a real world conversation. It's not only going to be about tech. It's going to be about how I've trained over 400 inbound foster and adoptive families on what the good, the bad, and the ugly looks like for fostering. And it's going to be about video production that I've done. I can speak that language. I've done a lot of video production. And not only that, just, some good life experience. So when you get on Owwll and you start talking to people, you're having real conversations with them, and you get to know if somebody is more than just a tech expert. Hey, I know Dan. Dan knows about adoption. You might want to, Jax will say, yeah, talk to Dan Hall. And so you're going to get that referral. You're going to get people, wanting to send people to you because you've talked to them. You get that one-on-one call with Gary V. He's going to remember who you are because you had that one-on-one call, not in a room of 1,000 people.
Yeah, no, it's a great app. And you can set your time. It's one of those things where like you're on there right now and you're down below. But when you go live, you go to the top part, you have a little green dot, and then all your followers are told, hey, Dan Hall's online. And then you can reach out to Dan right then, and you can get paid on the spot. You can be an expert, or you can be and even as an expert, I call Dan when I'm on the app, and we'll talk, and same with Mark, and we'll talk. And Gabe, I didn't know you were on there. I'm gonna have to follow you so we can do a connect.
Russ Johns is on there. Gabe Leal is on there. And you'll see all the rates are set to $1 right now. They're testing the real world money. So Jason Hill, the CEO, gave everybody $10 to play with. So he had everybody set their rates down to $1 for you set your rate for 10 minutes, and you can set your rate to whatever your rate is. You do it for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and what an additional 5 minutes may cost somebody. And you go live. There's no scheduling. I could be sitting here. I don't have our 6 amazing kids. I'm not babysitting, and I have maybe an hour to get on Owwll. And if I'm online and people see me online, they can call me. And immediately up front, if I wanted to talk to Rebecca right now, I know exactly how much I'm paying before I make that call. And as soon as I make that call, it goes right into her account, and I pay for the 10 minutes, whether I use it or not. And the same with the 20 minutes. And you can see the ratings that everybody has. It was kind of cool because when Jason messaged me and wanted me to get on Owwll, he pitched me first, and I'm like, you son of a pitch.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe that he just pitched me. And I had sent him a request back in May, and that was in September that he finally sent me the first message. And I was just being smart with him, and I said, I'll try your Owwll, but I'm going to let you know I'm going to hack it first. And I thought I was going to hear crickets. He immediately responded with, please, 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 if you find anything, let me know so I can have our developers fix it. I hacked it. I didn't find anything that was open-ended like this, like Clubhouse, and absolutely fell in love with the platform. And it's soon to launch in the App Store. So highly recommend Owwll.
Yeah, and it's super secure, like you said. You tried to hack it, and you weren't able to pull any information off of it. Now, Tom Ryan had a comment. I think this is around the Clubhouse hack, and he was asking, isn't this most of the data from the API pool?
It sure is. It sure is. All the data that's coming down through from Clubhouse. It's just whether it's secure, Tom, or not. Secure meaning, is it authenticated? Is it, do you have to be authenticated to get at the data? Which you clearly saw that at least the analytics from the room were not authenticated. Once I got that link, I was able to go to just my browser without putting in any of the headers or anything else, the cookies. I was just able to browse to it. So that's what makes it open. And that's probably why you had companies like Direcon and other companies that were gleaning analytics from all these rooms, is because it was public.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So you have your hands in a few things behind the scenes. Owwll's one of them that you work on the side, that you provide information and insights, not only in technology, but within your background, being a foster kid. But I'm curious, can you share a little bit about Peekaboo and how you even created that, and why you created that? What's the purpose for it, and how can people become more engaged with you on that?
Sure. So it's peekaboo.live, HTTPS, peekaboo.live. And I saw a need. I did a lot of work with Brian Schulman, who is the godfather of live streaming on LinkedIn. He's been on the platform for 18 years. He runs a show called Voice Your Vibe. And I had created snap filters kind of like this, over 20 of them for his show. And he told me he was going for sponsorship. He was trying to get sponsorship for the show. Well, you can't really get sponsorship if you don't have audience data. You can have all the high level data you get from Shield Analytics, but you don't get all the comments, the hashtags that go with the comments and the mentions, and you can't really see when a specific person last engaged in your show. So I looked at the traffic, same exact way through Fiddler, of what was coming from LinkedIn. And I was able to derive an algorithm that was able to grab the data by not violating the terms of service of LinkedIn.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So what you get if you go to peekaboo.live, you'll and you'll see a lot of high level LinkedIn live streamers. Trevor Houston that have given testimonials, Gabe Leo, Russ Johns, Travis Lochner, who's in the top. He's one of the top 50 influencers on LinkedIn for 21, along with Nancy Barrows. She's a top 50, but they all use. So once this stream is done, I will run Peekaboo against the replay, and it'll give us an Excel spreadsheet of every single comment that was made during the live show, and or depending on the timing that you ran it, it'll also pull the comments from the replays. So you get a nice spreadsheet with a breakdown of all the mentions, every single comment, who commented on it, and you even get a link to their profile. So you can be looking at a comment on the spreadsheet, and you can click directly on their LinkedIn profile, and it'll bring you to their profile, and you can answer their question right there, or just thank them for attending the show. When you talk about a call to action, You don't even need to, if you just see there's a tab that says attendees, you can see who attended. You may see that somebody hasn't attended your show in a month or two, and you might just want to have a call to action to check up on them, make sure they're doing okay. And, it's just a great way to keep up with your tribe.
I like that. And then we actually have Gabe in here. So thank you, Gabe, for showing up. He was he's a big live streamer. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
And Owwll. So anybody wants to reach out to Gabe on that, hey, Owwll, definitely reach out to an expert on that. Would you mind, could you share your screen and show kind of briefly the template and what it looks like? Or
Sure. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
I think that would be good for a visual for everybody to see, because it's really, really clean. Now when you're doing that, I do have a couple of questions that came up. One was from James, and he was wanting to know, how long did it take you, probably initially, to hack Clubhouse the first time you were in there?
A couple weeks. It's just more of understanding the data that was coming through, and just playing around and looking at the links, seeing what I could get at, from the links, seeing what I could not get at without authenticating. So it took me a couple of weeks, and it's just fail. And it's just the drive. I have such a drive in me to figure it out. So I'll put it away. And most of it was just, putting it away, going to sleep, coming back and trying again. And then finally you find that magical unicorn link, that gets you to what we saw. So let me Peekaboo live.
Tom Ryan wants to know, have you used Burp?
I have not used Burp.
There you go. Short answers. All right.
Let me pull
you let me know when you want me to share that screen.
Yeah.
I don't want to put it up anytime too soon for anybody.
There we go.
I'm going to actually go in here and grab your interview and drop that in the chat as well, so everybody has that.
You can go ahead and share that.
Yeah. Oh, share the screen. Okay.
Yeah.
This doesn't play. Okay. There we go. Perfect. All right.
So if you want if you run a live stream and you want me to run Peekaboo on one show for free, I can do that. We're still in beta and still working on the pricing model for this, but just ping me. And I have run over 700 shows, downloaded 504 comments, over 51K mentions, and over 15,000 hashtags, and delivered spreadsheets to people like Trevor Houston, Ingor, Gabe, Nancy Barrows, Travis, people love it so much that they just have done shout outs on their shows. It's something. Adam Posner, it was something that was just created for the love of the community. I've been part of the Travis Lochner's Beast Node for a while now, and it just saw such a need, especially with Brian Schulman's show. Let me actually pull up. There's a sample spreadsheet, and thank you to Travis Lochner for allowing us to have a look at his spreadsheet. So I'm going to pull this up, and immediately you can see all the comments, and you can sort that by date and time. All the comments for the shows. Let me just enable editing here. And yes, you can sort that by date and time. Let me go ascending. So there you go. And if you want to filter on that and, see all, I'm sure Gabe was probably in here. Maybe not in this show, Gabe. But you can, if you're an Excel person, you can filter all that out. You see the name of the show date, who the producer was, and here I can link to somebody's profile directly if I'm logged in. So yeah, let me, it's because I'm not logged in, but I can take that profile and I can copy that. Yeah. And paste it over here. No, that has the old link. That's okay. You'll have to trust me on that one. But this is why people love it so much, is because they can just come over here, look at the attendees, and click in their profile, send them a message. Look at, and there's no hashtags in that show, but the mentions and who mentioned them, who the mentioner, the commenter was. And it's just more detailed analytics than you're going to get with Shield. Shield, you get that high level data. Here, you're getting that very low level granular data. So if somebody mentioned Snap, like a Snap sponsor the show, and you run, 52 shows, a show every week, you can go back through your shows and you can see that you mentioned Snap 150 times. And then go to Snap and say, here's all my audience data. Would you be willing to sponsor our show? So
that's brilliant. I was going to ask you some examples of ways people could utilize this data to help them within their marketing campaigns.
Yeah. And just the gamification as well on this, enter something in the comments, and we're going to track how many times it's entered. Twitch, for example, I can come down through here and I can find me all the comments that say Twitch. There you go. So if you're looking at gamification and you want to run a contest, the first person that puts this in the comment, and you can go back through and you have every single comment right there. And you know whether it was entered live or in replay because you have that timestamp. So it completely drives gamification and giveaways on the show. It's not a live version of it like you can do on StreamYard or Restream, but it gives you some flexibility to really get granular with that data.
I love it. Cybersecurity Central. Yes. So when they get big, they're going to be reaching out to you, Dan. So that'll be like in a few months, basically.
And YouTube is next. I'm using the same Peekaboo engine to do the same with YouTube. And YouTube is just going to blow up because there's nothing available to, especially if you're using Restream and your chat bot to broadcast to YouTube. Now you're looking at not only the YouTube comments, but you're looking at the chat bot that sends from Twitch, that sends from LinkedIn, that sends from Facebook, all into that YouTube channel. And then you can parse that out and separate it.
God, I love that. So much you can do. So you've got a lot of burners going over here. I'd love to know if you had just one goal for the year, because we're still in January. We've got a lot of New Year's resolutions out there, a lot of people with big goals. I know I've got a couple of goals. Outpost Gray Academy, which I'm kicking off actually right now. A lot of things getting mixed up over there. But for you, can you talk about, like, what is your number one goal for 2022? Where do you want to see yourself by this time next year?
My book written.
Oh, you're going to write a book. Can you share a little bit about what the premise of the book is going to be about?
It's called Size Matters, and it is cataloging the journey and talking about how leadership starts at home. And it's going to catalog my journey from foster care, through adoption. And it's called Size Matters because I was always up until about 16 years ago, I didn't give a shit about anybody because I couldn't process those feelings. And the Size Matters piece of it is in our family. If you see me drinking out of this mug, it's on every show. It says Size Matters. And it's a great, big, huge coffee cup my kids gave to me 2 years ago. And it's a reminder to me every day that it's those little things in life that matter the most. And a great example of that is one of our sons who's autistic and has Hashimoto's and a rare blood disorder called HSP. And he's terrified to go to school every day because of the fire alarms. Autistic people tend to hear things at different frequencies than we do. And it completely sends him in a loop because it legitimately hurts his ears. It hurts our ears, but it's magnified for him. Even the announcements at school is terrifying for him. So for him to get his socks on in the morning, knowing that the end result is going to somewhere that's going to be scary, getting his socks on is a cheerleading session. Great job, buddy. Let's keep going. So it's just those little small things. Go small or go home. And it's just a reminder. So writing that book, and that is just, it has to be done. It's been a long time coming. I've had so many people that have told me to do that. So I'm whittling away at the outline and the chapters, and I hope in 2023 that I'm able to land a TED Talk.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
A TED or a TEDx probably.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. Yeah, and we'll have you back on the show, and you can share a little bit more about it. This has been really, really insightful. Before I pull you off the stage and then share with the viewers for the next week's show and the coming show, is there anything else that you would like to say about you? Like leave the viewers with one last lasting comment.
You guys could have spent your time doing anything, and appreciate you so much for taking time out of your life to spend it with Jax and I. That's priceless.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I concur that. Thank you so much again. And Dan will be coming back on here. I already dropped his interview in the chat, so make sure to check that out. And then, as always, reach out to Dan for anything, mentorship, to talk, and then hop on Owwll. If you have any questions about Owwll, reach out to Dan or I, and we can help you out.
Owwll it.
Owwll.
You need to find something. Owwll it.
I love that. Oh my God, you're so amazing. I love you, Dan. You have a great time. Have a good one.
Thank you so much. Take care, guys.
Wow, that was so awesome. I'd love to have your feedback on what you guys thought about the live hack. Thank you to everybody that's in Clubhouse. I'm going to go ahead and leave quietly. And Paul, you're still a host, so the room will still stay live until you close it out. But thank you for everybody that participated, that hopped into Clubhouse, that really helped us to pull those analytics for everybody to see. If you would like us to deep dive, us being Dan, to deep dive in anything, let me know, let Dan know. We'll bring him back on the show. I think this was a great session. Now for next week, I just want to let you know, we drop episodes every single Thursday. We are moving into live streams, which is awesome because it allows all of you to be able to engage with the guest real world, which I love. And I've received feedback that you guys like that as well. So next week, we're going to have another live stream. Really excited about it. Erica McDuffie. If you guys do not know her, definitely reach out to her, get to know her. She is a top leader in the GRC space. She's also my dear friend and the co-host of our podcast, which we are branding. You guys see the new name that is called Two Cyber Chicks. So that's a little spoiler alert. We're really excited about that. And we'll probably have her share a little bit about that rebrand next week on Thursday. That live stream will be at the same time from 3 to 4 p.m. All of the live streams run at the same time, unless we're doing something in the UK or a different location, and likely it'll be earlier, but always plan for about 3 to 4 p.m. Make sure you subscribe too. That'll keep you up to date of all of the episodes that we drop. And then after Erica's live stream, I'm going to be doing a pre-recorded live stream around branding, teaching you how to brand yourself on LinkedIn. And I'm still looking for maybe somebody to come on and be a guest for that. So if you think of anybody, or maybe you yourself are good at branding and you would like to be a guest, I would love to have you. Otherwise, I'm going to do it myself and teach you all the things that I've learned. And I actually am going to share some of our excerpts from the book that we wrote called Cybersecurity Career Master Plan. And if you haven't picked up that book, highly encourage you, if you're looking to get into the industry or even pivot in the industry. There's amazing co-authors, myself, Jared Ogier, John Helmus, and Kim Wynn. So thank you guys again for attending. This is all for you, and I'm very, very passionate about it. And I just love when you guys hop in and you say hi. You're my community, you're my family, and I love you all. You guys have a great day. Signing out. Bye.